Oh, right here with Mike and Mirielle, talking to them about slow travel today. And I mentioned to you guys earlier, they are from Miami, Florida.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get a great history of their path in terms of how they got to the point where they could travel and also slow travel. So let's go ahead and get started with a first question.
Sure.
It's going to be about how did you end up starting slow travel?
Hang on, I want to say one thing real fast. We didn't know what slow travel was till we were in the middle of this trip, and we started hearing people use that term.
We're doing it without you around.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't plan this trip. Actually, we had to plan, but it really just came about.
Yeah.
We were thinking about traveling Southeast Asia, and we were trying to decide where to go.
Okay.
And that turned into, well, if we're going for a month or two, we're not really sure. Where would we go and how would we do this? And then we, of course, we realized that to do this, you can't just do it in a month.
Right.
There's just too many places to go. So then we had to make a decision on what do we do with our apartment that we have in Miami? And we don't have Airbnb. You can't rent it monthly.
Okay.
Our rules in Miami Beach is that you have to rent it at least a year.
Okay. I know
So
that.
we were like,
Well,
okay.
6 months in a day.
6 months in a day.
And he wants to rent for 6 months in a day, so it ends up being a year.
Yeah. So we put the apartment up for rent.
And so when did that happen? How long has it been since you've been doing your travels?
So we left on November 30th.
Okay. Of this past
24.
2024. So we've already been gone over a year.
And how long have you continued to travel?
We're going back mid-April.
Okay.
We have some stuff we need to do there. Our tenants are saying they want to stay another year, so now we're kind of like,
All right.
we still have to go back and do some things back in Miami. Do we keep going for another year? Do we just stay home for another year? We're not sure yet. We're figuring that as we go along.
Now, if you're thinking, you might go back home to Florida, is it where you're going to go back home and then now take another trip somewhere else and continue to slow travel? Or are you thinking about possibly moving towards retirement? Full
I think we're looking
Closer
towards
to a little bit more to retirement.
full
Yeah.
retirement?
That was not the plan. It's
Okay.
just, again, kind of what's happened.
It's one of those questions that everyone's asked me, when are you going to retire?
Right.
And we're both yacht brokers in Miami. So the reality is our job or our career takes us to a lot of really nice places. It's a lot of work,
Okay.
but it's not a job. So how lucky is that to have that?
Right.
And then someone, then at some point say, well, if you're going to move here to Vietnam, there really isn't any yachting business here. So what do? I mean, at some point, maybe you just retire. So it's almost a forced retirement, but we haven't made 100% of those decisions yet. So maybe we stay back home for a few more months, do a little bit more business, get some cash and then bring it back to Vietnam.
Let me ask you a question. Let's just step back a little bit. And when you were basically, before your slow travel even began and took on this adventure, did you ever think about the time that would retire?
Not at all.
In your thought process.
Never.
No.
So you didn't think about even retirement at all.
No.
It just basically kind of landed in your lap and ends up.
Yes. Well, everything about this just kind of happened. So it was in June. I was diagnosed with MS. We were coming up on his 60th birthday. We had never thought about a trip like this. Wasn't on our bucket list. Not anything we've ever talked about. But at the same time, an article came out. I don't remember if it was in Condo or some kind of travel magazine. And it was about Thailand and how inexpensive it is to travel there and how beautiful it is. And it's the hot new place to go. And I was like, so the more I did research, I was like, well, it's really inexpensive to travel over there. It's just once you get there, that's expensive. And so we started just talking about it. I'm like, and then like he said, the thing came up with the tenants, like, well, we could rent the place because you can't just go for 2 months because then you still have to pay your mortgage at home and everything and keep everything. And now you've got expenses from travel and expenses from
Well, you can
home.
do it, but it didn't make any financial sense. Not that everything you do has to make financial
Correct.
sense, but it made way more sense to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so we just kind of just looked at each other and I'm like, should we do this? Trust me, it was scary. I mean, it was really scary. I mean, I had so much anxiety about it, but I had more anxiety about sitting at home and continuing the hustle, to try to pay your bills.
To live in
crazy.
Miami, we have a really cool lifestyle there. We've got a beautiful apartment, just had a brand new car. Everything was going great. But to live there, you could be on that hamster wheel and you got to run on that hamster wheel. And you can use that analogy as living a beautiful life.
Yeah.
But is it?
It's a stressful life.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's one of the best things we've learned about this slow travel. It's taken him the longest. Like when we first started, we're like, I just can't lay on a beach all day. And I'm not much like that either. Like we want to be out and exploring and doing things and hiking mountains and seeing volcanoes. But then this last trip when we left Vietnam, went to Thailand, we ended up the very last week in Koh Samet, an island we'd never even heard of in all our research. And after being there, we just laying around doing nothing. He's like, let's stay another week. I'm like,
what
I
we were
can't lay
doing?
here any
We were
longer.
hanging out on the beach, under umbrella, just looking at the scenes, and I was like, I'm falling asleep. So I reached my goal. It took me almost a year, but I can actually sit and
And do
relax
nothing for a
and do
little bit.
nothing.
It's insane. And like, it's like your stress level comes down, you know, everything about you just feels, your skin is even better. You know, everything is better with less stress.
And I think a lot of people in the United States don't recognize that.
Yeah.
They can't feel that
Because
because
it's all you know.
that's all you know. So you're kind of programmed
Yeah.
to have things you'll do. So that now, when you decided to start traveling and rent out your space in Miami, what is the reaction of your friends and family people when you told me to do that?
Well, at first, it was what? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, why? Why?
Why are you doing
And
this?
why there? And you know, we
My answer was why not?
yeah, exactly. Why not? And then we said, well, maybe we'll start doing a little YouTube channel as we do this. You know, just not for work, not to make money, just to kind of document what we're doing.
We'll just
And we-
share our adventures with
Yeah.
our friends and family.
So
That
one
was
of
all it was.
again, one of our first movies under Connected, Get Connected, Mike and Mirielle, was just this. And we said, that's what we're doing. Here's what we're going after. We're going out for at least a year. But the coolest thing is the title to that video was You're Invited. And that you're invited to either watch along or you're invited to come and visit us.
Join us along the way.
And we've had so many people come and visit,
Really?
family, friends. I mean,
Yep.
just before we sat down, you met our friends from Miami.
They're standing here.
This is their
Yeah.
third time visiting us.
Throughout the trip, they came to Cambodia. They met us in Ho Chi Minh. They went to Philippines with them. And Ted himself came to Malaysia with us. So, you know, and then we have another friend coming January 15th. She just reached out to us. She's like, I can't watch your videos anymore. I'm coming. But
One of my
and
oldest
then
friends in the world is
from
coming
New
out.
York is coming.
Yeah, friend in February to hang out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
My daughter from Key West, she was here for 7 weeks with us.
With her girlfriend.
With her girlfriend. So it's been cool. And so everyone says, don't you miss it at home? And no, not really. Yeah.
Keep bringing home over there. It really does help you not have the, you know, that missing home thing when people are always coming and going and you're hosting people. Oh, my two best friends of 25 years from Wisconsin came to visit us for their 25th wedding anniversary. They're like, we're coming to Vietnam. We're like,
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
So that's something that's unique.
Yeah, very unique. Yeah, in the sense that you could spend. It's almost like they reconnected with you and
100%.
spend more time with you being there now.
Because if we were home, everyone would still be on that hamster wheel doing their thing.
Yeah.
And you'd pick up the phone every once in a while or get a video call. And you don't even do that when you're home doing your normal thing. So
Yeah.
it's actually turned out to be something great.
Yeah.
And also you
Yeah.
could experience the adventure or experience a new place or new things together too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a shared experience.
100%.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So pretty much a lot of people not only kind of saying why, but also then now they're saying, okay, now we're going to share that.
Yeah.
But you're going away. Yeah, but we get to spend more time with our friends and family. When you think about that, it's true.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now let's go back. I'm going to step back just a little bit farther.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of kind of talk about how you guys got to the point that you guys are now. And quick question, because a lot of people want to, not only look at slow travel, but they also want to know, hey, that cannot be me. I can't do that. I can never be, prepared to do that. Not only financial, but also mentally too, because it's a component of slow travel that you're really taking that leap of faith.
Yeah.
that it's going to work out.
The preparation is important. You really have to take almost like your mind out of your body and look back and go, what do you need to do to make this happen? Because some of those decisions that you have to make aren't normally coming out of your regular mind while you're just planning a trip.
Right.
We basically got rid of everything we own except for what's in our condo, because we rented it furnished with
Right.
all our stuff there. But you know, everything, all that stuff that you collect, all that stuff that you need to have, we got rid of. We didn't want to store anything
Right.
because by the time you get back, you might as well just bought new. And that was my mindset. Don't worry, just stuff. We'll get rid of it all. And when we get back, we can always buy new. And of course, now months later, we realized we didn't need that stuff in the first place. So there's really not much that's to buy when you get back.
It's going to be the opposite. We're now going to purge again. And to getting rid of even more stuff so we can continue to do this. So going back to the research Mike was saying, so it's, you know, I researched a lot about places we want to go. And of course, we kind of had the first month kind of set. But even then, we didn't have all the flights and the hotels, but just kind of a general idea in the first month or so. And places that we have gone and been to were never even on the list. And it's from traveling and meeting other people. Like one of our friends was like, you have to go to Laos. You're over there. It wasn't even on the list. I never even thought about it. And we ended up going. We spent 2 weeks there. We loved it. We were just up in northern Thailand. It was so nasty weather all down in the southern islands like Koh Samui and Koh Phangan, Phuket, Phi. They were all pouring down rain. Horrible. And we were like, the weather was beautiful up in northern Thailand. Well, let's just stay up here. Well, what are we going to do all day? How many temples can we go see? So we heard about this Mai Hong Song loop. So we ended up doing that. And most people do it. You rent a bike and you go on this loop up through northern Thailand, end up in Pai. You go through Doi Anthanon, places I'd never even heard of. And they do it in 3 or 4 days on a rented bike. We ended up renting a bike for 9 days, right? And just took our time, and we would get off the bike and just go explore waterfalls and stuff. So the slow travel gives you that ability to make changes as you go along. Once you hear about something else,
So
or
that's
meet
part
other people
of the preparation is don't plan everything.
Very good point.
Really, don't plan. Get there, show up, and if you're slow travel and you can have a basic idea of what you're doing, and you want to stay another week, stay. If it's not really your thing and you've kind of said, well, we've checked off all the boxes we want to check off and let's move on, move on.
Now that you said that, let me ask you questions kind of piggyback on that.
Right.
Do you think you changed your personality when you started slow traveling? Or was that how you were when you're back at home? Being able to kind of wing it or to change as and that?
No, I'm not a wing it kind of girl.
I'm always just whatever. I roll with everything.
I'm
So
the opposite. I'm a planner. I get anxiety.
It's always a way. But so, and that's part of that relationship when you travel.
Right.
You have to be ready for that.
Right.
When we were almost joking. At some point, we could be traveling. It's just the two of us. Husband and wife, and it doesn't always run smooth.
Right.
And it's almost like, should we come up with a safe word? Like you're in the middle of the airport, right? And you're losing your mind, and the flights are being missed, and you have the luggage. I mean, at some point you have to kind of stop and look at each other, bubble gum or whatever it might be, your word, and just say that and know that
everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be fine. Not everything's perfect. And in the last year, we've actually done very well.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple of trying moments. And every once in a while you got to go stop.
Right.
There's no arguments here. We've got a goal to reach, and it takes two of us. And one time with air sleep, we were an hour before a flight. We didn't have our visas yet. We didn't have, and we all buckled down and broke the computers up in the airport, and we conquered and divided, and we made our flight with the visas and everything. It was, again, not fun, but looking back, we go, wow, we pulled that off.
So as you've been slow traveling, have you seen then yourself change?
Yes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I have way less anxiety now about it. Like I said, I'm a planner, and now I'm pretty good with just like rolling with it. There was so much anxiety just for me in all the years. The reason I never thought about coming to Asia, I was always so fearful of the language barrier. That was my number one stressor. And that's why I was like, I don't think I can do that because I can't afford to have a translator walk around with me. And how do you communicate when you can't even read at least in Europe, you speak a different language, but they still use the same alphabet that we use in the United States. And that was just too stressful for me. And now that we've been over to pretty much every Southeast Asian country, you realize it's not that hard, especially with technology today. How
Google
easy Google
Translate.
Translate, everything.
But
It's
we
so
found that,
easy.
yeah, most of the time, everyone speaks English.
A little bit of English.
Yeah. And then
It's the international language.
and then of
so-
course, wherever you travel, you want to get some of the keywords. Thank you, all the basics.
Oh, please, thank
That
you.
was great. But then when you go to Thailand, and then we're in Malaysia, and then from there we're Indonesia, you think you've learned something, and then you have to switch languages again.
Right, like you get to
Yeah.
that country and you just started learning, Sabadika, and now you're like, what is this? Tinga.
Come on. Yeah. So there's just so many things, and from our background being in Miami, we don't have a second language, but there's a lot of Spanish there.
Oh, Spanish is
So
the
it's
first
so funny
language
in the
my-
beginning. Every time, once in a while, we get like confused about saying something, and Spanish would come out. Just because you couldn't figure out the word, you knew it wasn't English. Yeah. So that was kind of fun as well.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is when people think about slow travel or retiring abroad, that is a component of, you evolve, you change, you adapt, you grow as you travel to different countries.
Right.
And that can be an adventure.
No, it has to be an
Yeah.
adventure. If it's not an adventure,
Right.
stay home.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the question in regards to your planning of this adventure
Right.
thought, you said you didn't really plan too much ahead. You had a certain amount of timeline of what to do. But now, forward thinking, beyond that, you said you possibly you want to retire, not retire. But I guess the question in regards to what's holding you back from pulling that trigger, and what is the definition of retire to you?
You know it's holding you back.
Yeah. But what's holding me back?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some family at home.
Family.
Yeah.
And as much as I've got my two daughters at home, they're both mature in their 30s.
Right.
They've worked hard. I've given them the tools.
Yeah.
They've already got my support, but not being there is great. One of my daughters had the opportunity to travel. My other daughter doesn't have that opportunity right now.
Uh-huh.
She's in the middle of stuff with young kids and career and stuff.
Right.
So it's tougher because I'd really love to see her travel, but she just hadn't had the opportunity. So that's a little tough. The rest of my family, they're used to me taking off, being gone,
Right.
doing my
Just
thing,
being Mike.
just being me. Yeah, I'm a little bit more. What's the best word? I don't want to say it was the black sheep of the family.
You can say that, right?
Meaning everyone else has done the follow the rules. You
Yeah.
got to do this, and I've
Yeah.
just always went the opposite direction. I was the first person to move from New York to Florida.
Okay.
And the same thing. Instant moving.
Wow.
Why'd you do that? What are you, crazy? Everyone in my family now lives in Florida.
Everyone.
So maybe I,
Set the
help
trend.
blaze a few more
A couple
trails that,
cousins.
set a little precedent
I
with,
don't
for
think they're
them.
all going to move to Asia.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we're going to move back here. It's just,
But-
we definitely see the benefits of it. But
Now, have you been primarily traveling in Asia?
Yes.
Okay, so you haven't been anywhere else besides Asia. You plan on traveling outside of Asia?
Well, that's on this trip. I mean, we've traveled a lot of
we've
areas
been
of the
to
world.
Europe and
Right.
South America.
But we looked at Southeast Asia
Caribbean.
because we've done so much of the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
We never went to Asia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we focused on this. Yeah.
And because it's so far away. Like I said, once you're over here, it takes so much time and money and effort to get here. Well, why not just do
all
it
one
while
time.
you're here? In Europe, you can be in Europe from Miami in 6-7 hours.
So can you tell me, and since you've been traveling through in Asia, what is one of the couple of best memories of the travels in Asia? Can you pick out a couple?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the Hong Song Loop. That
Right.
was something that was so unexpected, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. The most beautiful views up in the mountains. But I have to say, it's the scuba diving. I mean,
Diving?
we
Oh,
have
yeah.
scuba diving in the Caribbean and the Bahamas and the Florida Keys, but so much of it is bleached and gone.
The
and
corals were
coral.
bleached,
And
yeah.
so when the coral's gone, the animals go, the fish go. And it's just not like it used to be down there. And we have experienced some beautiful places, especially in the lower
Southern
Philippines.
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 We're on our way to Indonesia
Going back to Indonesia
to do some more stuff where
yeah.
the coral is just as like it was 100 years ago.
So you want to Bali?
We're going to Bali.
Going to Penida and then to Komodo.
Komodo. I don't know. So I did.
So it's where the
Komodo.
Komodo dragon.
Komodo dragon. Yeah, it's along the eastern chain of the
archipelago.
of Indonesia.
Oh,
Again, back to another language, back to another culture.
absolutely.
But no, it's going to be really cool.
We just wanted to
well-
dive one more time because it is so beautiful. And even places like Raja Ampat, which is way farther out in Indonesia, much more difficult to get to, something that makes it much more expensive. We watched a video the other day saying these people went 6 years ago and then they just went again this year, and they cannot believe how much
They did some before and after
deteriorated.
shots, and it's really sad to
deteriorated,
see
but-
how much tourism and
Yeah, it's really
natural
sad.
things gone that it's not the same.
So
So
5 years from now, if we wait, or 3 years, or even 2 years, we better go and dive some of these places now because they may not be there.
Right.
Which is really
Yeah.
sad.
So you guys are connected by dive.
yes.
Uh,
Well, that's one of them. I mean, one of the other great things we did, we were in Japan, and we were thinking about going to Japan for just a couple days. You know, looking at our schedule and maybe the budget. You know, you try and
expensive there.
well, it's some significant. We ended up being there over a month.
Almost a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What part of Japan did you go?
Where all the cities?
So we started in Osaka, and then from there, like we did day trips around like to Kobe and some other places, and then we went to Kyoto. Same thing, did some day trips around there, and then we ended up in Tokyo, and then finally in Shimoda. This is one of the things, like there were a few things when we left Miami that we knew we had to be on a certain date. And we had this forum that we went to, a business forum in Hong Kong, very specific dates. We had to be there.
When
for
we
that.
left, yep.
And then this
One of my
fishing
friends,
tournament.
clients, said, no, if you're coming to Japan, because he, in the yacht business, he'd come to the U.S. and we do some business there. And he says, finally, you have to come to Japan, come to Japan. So after 10 years, we're there. He says, well, if you're coming, you have to come for the Japan International
Billfish
Billfish Tournament. It's the second largest billfish tournament of the
In
of
the world.
So we go there, and he has us all set up on a boat. A really, really cool sports fish. The family was gorgeous.
Yeah.
We had
They
a
just
great
welcomed
time.
us like we were part of their team. They
Yeah.
fed us, took care of us, and just it was
Yeah,
an
it was so
amazing, amazing
cool.
experience.
So then we were supposed to take the
Train.
train back to Tokyo, which is about a 3-hour ride. It's a beautiful train. The sightseeing is great. And when we said we were leaving, he says, "Oh, hang on a second." He calls up one of his other friends who has a boat in the tournament, and he goes, "Oh, my friend is leaving tomorrow as well."
Okay.
He says, "No, go with him." And I'm like, "Okay, but what does that mean?" We go down the next morning to the marina, and what's there? A $25 million jet helicopter.
Oh,
So
I
it's a
never been
six
helicopter before.
six
so it was my first
passenger
time.
helicopter. Takes our luggage. We were back in
Uh-huh.
Tokyo in
Right.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, it was, again, not
dropped us off right by
planned.
the airport.
You know, and I think one of my comments to some other people, it's like, you never really appreciate sometimes yacht owners.
Yeah. They're very generous. Most
How
of the time.
generous they are. And for them, it was like, I'll take him back. He was going anyhow. But for us, I just thought that was very cool. And that was a highlight. You know, how many
Big
times you get
time.
to go in the house? And again, was that planned? No.
Nope.
Not even the day before.
man.
So we've done a lot of cool things, and the best things for, I guess, any one of people who might be watching this is some of the best things that happen on your trip are not planned, but you have to get yourself there for those things to happen.
So let's talk about that. If you were to give, I guess, people that are watching this video some advice as to why would you, let's say your friends, like, why would you encourage your friends, hey, consider slow travel, consider, when you get into a certain age in your life, you're not necessarily ready to pull the trigger to retire, maybe slow travel up.
It is, one of the things I think I used to annoy him. We would go on a vacation or whatever. I'd have literally every single minute planned. Okay, we got to go here, be at the 8 a.m. I got to be here at 10. And because you want to get it all in,
Right.
to your trip, because you got to see everything while you're there. And now there's just some days we get up and we just watch TV and watch movies all day, because you don't have to be anywhere, It's living, but traveling at the same time. And you don't. In the beginning, I did felt compelled, like we have to get out. We got to go do something every day. And now,
No,
we don't.
we traveled much faster in the beginning
Yeah, much faster.
for two reasons. One, to go out and see a lot.
Right.
And then our plan always was, after we get done with a little bit faster travel, we also want to figure out where we might want to come back to
Okay.
Yeah.
and really slow down to do the slow travel.
Right.
Yeah.
And that gave us the opportunity to know where you'd want to go back. So that's sort of why we're here in Vietnam. We just fell in love with Vietnam, again, which was not even on our radar in the beginning.
And I love Thailand too. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Pros
things
and
we
cons.
love. Yeah, pros and cons of both. We love them both. Like I said, when we left here, because we had to get out for a visa, and we didn't just do a border run. We're like, we just never got to see northern Thailand when we first got over here. That was one of our original first places we were going to go, but they had just had some typhoons come through there, so they had massive flooding, mudslides. It was just really awful. So we're like, we're going to have to put that off. So now that we needed to leave here in September and get out of the country to renew our visa, we're like, okay, let's finally go back into northern Thailand, which is when we also did Laos, which wasn't planned. And then, like I said, once we did northern Thailand, we were going to come back down to some of their islands or their beaches, but ended up staying up there and just staying there and staying there. And I really enjoyed just not feeling like I had to be somewhere every day and enjoying beautiful Thailand. But eventually, where did I say I was ready to go?
Back to
Back where? Home.
oh
You said it like 3 times.
oh okay yeah.
Okay,
She was
back
like, at some point we were in Koh Samet, and it was, we mentioned before, it was just gorgeous. I'm like, let's stay another week. You know, back in Da Nang, it's still rainy season. Like,
Yeah.
even today, it's a little cloudy. I'm like, but it's still beautiful here. And she's like, I feel like I'm gonna go back home, which is to Da Nang.
I didn't mean home in Miami. I meant,
But that's what she meant, because we have a nice 2-bedroom apartment here, and you kind of can sit back and be at home away from home.
No, going back to what you're saying about you when you start traveling, right? And you're still in that vacation mode thinking, right? You're
Yeah.
planning out everything. And now you kind of transition to more like a slower pace.
Yes.
Right.
When called slow travel, you're literally doing slow travel.
100%.
And you spend like maybe a month, maybe 2 months, have a longer time periods within different areas you go traveling to.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And so with that lifestyle is very different, I think, for a lot of
Yeah.
people. In America, I think a lot of people would not understand that lifestyle.
They don't understand.
Right.
I wouldn't have understood that
Yeah.
a year
Can
ago.
you tell me, I know we talk about the good things, but tell me, like, you experienced any challenges that, what you were confronted with while you're doing the slow travel that, people would not be aware of. They're looking into slow travel.
And this is something that it's a preference. And it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. But most people who go on vacation, okay, want to stay in the nicest hotel. They want to stay in that perfect resort. And when you slow travel, nothing you don't want to do that to really get
An authentic
the authentic
experience.
thing is to pick boutique hotels. And that doesn't mean you're staying in a hostel. That just means you're staying in a little bit more local place. Some have a swimming pool, some don't. Some have a great view somewhere. Sometimes you're staying a few blocks in. Some of the hotels, and no matter what research you do, sometimes you get there and go, it's not really what we want. It's a little bit tight.
Right.
The bed is not as comfortable as it was, or the last one was. And so some of that travel is, you may not be as comfortable all the time.
Right.
But and listen, for people who have an unlimited budget,
Right.
stay in resorts, and you'll feel comfortable, but you'll be eating in the same restaurant with the same people. And that's not slow travel. Slow travel is really embracing where you are,
Right.
and hanging out with the locals, meeting expats, whatever. But you have to experience that. So part of it is that sometimes it's not as comfortable. Sometimes you're doing the sink laundry, right?
Okay.
You're in the sink doing laundry and hanging out.
So do that. There's plenty of places to send your
Right,
laundry
right.
out, no
Yeah.
matter where you go. We just had a bad experience on our very first try where they put a pair of blue jeans in with
With
all
all
of
of
our
our
whites.
whites.
And I was like,
And then the water was
all our white.
And then the water must have been brown too. And here we are. It was our first time in
Very
Bangkok.
first.
Send out all of our laundry, and everything came back.
So we've
Wow.
gotten used to the doing the sink laundry. We kind of try to offset, like every couple of places we stay, we might stay in a hotel, and then we might stay in an Airbnb that has a washer or a washer dryer or whatever, and we
Yeah.
do our own laundry in an actual washing machine. But I don't ever think we've been uncomfortable. Makes us
Oh,
nice. We've stayed in nicer places, but when I say nicer places, we try to keep our budget at a certain amount. And in some cities, that's just very difficult to do. So you kind of got to increase the budget. But there's some places you go. I mean, we stayed in this beautiful hotel in Siem Reap in Cambodia. It was $27 a night, and it was gorgeous. And I was like, I can't believe this is $27. This is just insane.
So you got to roll with some of the good and the bad.
Exactly.
Sometimes I said in Japan was a little pricey and very
Japan
small.
is just more expensive.
Japan is teeny
But even
apartments.
even hotel rooms there are small.
Yes.
We stayed everywhere we stayed in Japan was in an Airbnb. So it always had a little mini kitchen because it's also very expensive to go out to eat there. So we bought a lot of food. You can get incredible pre-made food in the
Restaurants and markets.
No, in the grocery stores.
Yeah. Or
And there was
grocery store.
so because we had our own kitchen, we'd buy stuff in the markets. We'd go out and have lunch, during the day or whatever, or maybe we'd make lunch at home and then go out for dinner. But we tried to only eat out one meal a day there because it was just so pricey. But we had excellent food there just from the grocery stores. We made it ourselves at home in our own little tiny kitchenette, but it was all meat.
That's another thing is, we, even in our condo here, we cook a little bit because it's so cheap to eat out. But sometimes you just want to sit home or second home and eat when you want or have a little something.
Yeah.
So, when you stay in a hotel, you don't have a small kitchen. So when you have, possibly you've had a great meal and you want to take some, leftovers back to have a little snack later, you can't do that much with a hotel. So that's another disadvantage sometimes is not having the ability to just go hit the fridge at a midnight snack or you always have to go out to eat. So that's maybe not a negative, but it's just challenge sometimes. You don't want to go out.
I was just learning different things, like you said.
my final question for today. It's going to be about people that are interested in this type of lifestyle or trying to do soul travel. It would be about finance.
Right.
In terms of, do you guys have a kind of rough estimate on like a monthly expenditure that you spend to kind of give you this lifestyle of soul travel?
Yes. And what we found out in the last, yes, we no, I'm going to take it. Yes, we had a budget. Yes, everything you watch on YouTube says it works. It doesn't. It doesn't. We're probably double what our budget was, but you always can't eat on the street for $1.50 a day. You've got guests coming and going.
Right.
You've got people you meet.
Right.
You actually end up spending more. Again, we were scuba diving. We did a lot of tours. We get private cars once in a while to go do things. So part of slow travel is you can have a budget. It's almost like having an estimate and getting the bill when you get your car fixed.
Yeah.
The estimate isn't it's the bill.
So
always
being the Midwesterner, I'm the frugal one.
I'm really good at spending money.
He's really good at spending.
Yeah.
I'm really good at saving. So I will talk about the budget. So the budget for us, is I try to keep the accommodation at $50 a day.
Now, which is doable.
When you're going to go places like Hong Kong and Japan,
Singapore.
Obviously, that's
working.
not going to work. It goes up. But we also tried to stay in some of those places very short. Like we were only in Singapore for 4 days. I mean, we had to go there for a boat show, and we wanted to see Singapore, but I didn't need to stay there any longer. It's just insanely expensive there. I mean, it's like more expensive than Miami.
It's not why we didn't stay, but it's
no, it's super.
yeah.
Very expensive. But that's the main one is the $50 a day. We realize depending on where we stay, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But again, it's just a guide. Because if you start off with no budget in mind, and then you're just willy-nilly all over the place, so you've got to have some idea. And we learned over time, okay, what we originally kind of budgeted for wasn't going to work for us. So, we kind of increased it a little bit. But I've still tried to keep the accommodation price the same, around $50 a day. I mean, but here in Da Nang, because we're long-term renting, we're not in a hotel. We rent from Vietnamese family, and we love our place. $19 a day. Oh, wow. And so for 3 months, that $19 a day for 3 months,
You can do a lot of other stuff.
stuff a day you can add for that $30 we're not spending on accommodations or saving to recompensate us for the months we went way over. We're we're doing good these
Yeah.
3 months.
So as we're also considering staying another month, we have to maybe do a visa run. And the family has some of their family coming in and taking over apartments, which we didn't tell them. We told them the end of February. So we might have to find another place. And we're having a real tough time finding something equal as what we have, the cost and the square footage.
Sure.
So we've got a really good deal here.
Yeah, we love our place.
So sometimes you luck out, sometimes you don't. And,
Yeah.
you know,
So do you have a number? Monthly budget?
Oh, I would say 3,000.
3,000?
yeah.
It's a pretty sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Budget.
Yeah,
Sounds
3,000 a
good.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
I see.
Some people could do it on way less.
Yeah.
Some people spend that in a week.
Right.
You know.
So well, depending on lifestyle or what they want to count,
Right.
practice and do. But still, having a budget, of course, is very important because that kind of gives you that baseline of what you can do, as well as kind of gives you a longer period of time to travel.
Right.
Because if you kind of roll all your money in one side, then basically it's just
Yeah, you don't want to get 6 months into your trip and go, oh my God, we've had so much fun, but now we have to go home. That's not fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go home, but we have, we're going to be going back to Miami, another expensive place in this world.
I'm afraid.
So it's like, do we want to come back with an extra $100,000 in our pocket? Yeah. So.
All right. Where it is, guys. This is Mirielle.
And Mike.
Mirielle and Mike.
Yeah.
And they are going to talk to you guys more off of their channel too. They have YouTube channels, right?
Yep.
Get connected.
Like
Yes. I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can have a connection to that and their channel as well. But I want to thank you guys so much for taking time to interview with me today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. Now we've had so much information that we've gotten from YouTube that we want to make sure that we give back
Yeah.
some of our experiences.
It was such
to
a
help people.
huge part of our planning and researching was following other people and listening to things they did and went good and went bad. And I'm like, oh, you gotta make sure we don't do that. Oh, you gotta make sure we don't do that. So what you're doing is great. Thank you for having us.
Well, there you go, guys. Mirielle and Mike.
Thanks again.
Channel and we'll see you guys back in this one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good job. Thanks.